Last time on D&D, Silas, Sar, Drakenstar, and Josmo are all in the palace in the city of Isis. There they found two different kings were trying to overthrow the capital city, the planet of Onderon. One king claimed to have ruled for many years, but was a bit of a pushover. And the other took over his control and took over his throne. After heading to the king's bedchamber, the group managed to capture the previous king and put the old king back in rulership. The Jedi Knights, Master Silas Crow and Sar, managed to put the previous king under arrest, and they're going to take him back to Coruscant. However, they stumbled upon a plot. Some type of lunar witch, a moon witch is what she's called. She's able to take control over people's minds and make them do very bad things. Sar managed to escape and ran off to do his own thing, which, go ahead and describe what you did, because I don't think I ever really heard what you did. Yeah, I did actually hear. You went off and, go describe what you did.
Alice took out the droid working the emergency broadcast system, hacked into it, made it a one-tap on my calling system where I can access it any time.
Perfect. After coming back with the group, Sar found his master in a tank and fighting with a group of droids. The group of droids were easily taken over by the group, and they were heading back towards town to meet up with Saw Gerrera. After hatching another plot to go back to the palace to take down the head honcho of the droids, the commander droid, the group went back to the palace, and that is where we begin our session. So you guys are like running down the palace. Everyone's boots are clicking, clacking. Drakenstar runs up. "The palace is this way! Come, follow me!" And Drakenstar and Josmo run ahead of Silas and Sar. There's this huge archway in front of you guys, and as you break in, you come into this giant, massive room. There's pillars everywhere, and it's completely quiet. It's too quiet. Your guys' footsteps echo throughout the chamber. Silas and Sar are towards the back at the very front entrance, whereas Drake and Josmo have taken a few steps into the palace. There's a long red carpet that goes maybe 100 yards down the center of these pillars that are every 15-20 feet. Everything in here, the stone is white, and there's metal, like cups and decorations and stuff that are on throughout the hallway. Suddenly, the door slams shut behind you guys. Drakenstar turns and he says, "I knew it." And then there's just this red beam that is like a line that separates Drakenstar and Josmo and Silas and Crow. It's a giant wall of laser wall. Silas and Sar. It's a giant wall. Well, well, well. If it isn't the intruders. Suddenly walking out its feet clicking and clacking, echoing throughout the chamber, is a commander droid that walks out from behind a pillar, its hands behind its back. I knew you guys were on your way. We intercepted Master Crass. Bring him here, boys. And all of a sudden, you see 4 droidicas come out of the pillars. And one of the droidicas unfurls itself and is holding on to Master Crass. Do you remember him? And he's bloodied, his nose is bleeding profusely, one of his eyes is completely purple and shut. He looks like he's been beaten to shit. You sent him our way, didn't you? Thought he could take care of us, a bit of a distraction, right? You humanoids are all so stupid. Speaking of droids, he waves his hand like this, and the giant, massive throne door opens up behind you. 2 droidicas roll in and set up. The 2 droids in front, instead of pulling out laser cannons, they pull out and they each have 2 giant swords. And then a third one rolls in between the last one, right in the back, and it unfurls itself, and it has laser cannons. You are foolish to come here by yourselves. Kill them, boys. And the droid just turns on its heels and starts walking away. Drake's like, hey, here. And he turns his lightsaber on and he runs up and he tries like attacking this thing. And as you guys see, Josmo, you start shooting, and you turn around, and suddenly Silas says, Scarf, out! And he pushes you, and you like have to tumble out of the way, and immediately Silas just draws all 3 of his lightsabers and just because the droid with the laser cannons is just unloading on you guys, and Silas is just sitting here blocking all of these. What do you do?
Master! I ignite my blades. I'm gonna like try to run up the wall, and I wanna just jump and backflip off and try to get behind the laser cannon one.
Okay, roll against me.
Off the table.
Off the table.
Wait for you to roll first.
Off the table, I failed.
Oh, that? I got 6.
Okay. So, you run up the wall, and you see this droidica turn towards you. The one with the laser is just completely focusing on Silas. As you go to run up the wall, one of the droids clankers over to you and slashes right below your foot, and you manage to leap over to the other side. There's a droidica right in front of you, and he's coming at you, and he swings at you twice. First attack, misses. What's your AC?
50.
I missed with a 13. Second one hits you. So you swings, first one misses, the second one hits you. Ooh, you're gonna go and take 7 damage. And then as you look over again, Silas is like, with his one arm, because one of his arms is at his side, and his other blades are just going crazy. Lasers are just bouncing all over the place because Silas is just blocking these. And Silas is slowly walking towards him. He's like, "Star, watch your back!" And then that's right at this last second, the other droid comes around and slices at you. What do? So you have 2 of the sword things right in front of you.
Pull out a grenade. Throw some tree sap on it. Turn it on. Stick it on. I jump, stick it on one of their heads, and I say, "Try to dodge this."
Okay.
And I just jump, and I say, "Master, hold your gun and try to get as far away as you can."
As you turn to put the grenade on him, I need you to roll an attack. This is plus your dex.
7 plus 5.
As you go to do that, he takes a step backwards and you miss.
So now there is a grenade.
And it's just in your hand still. You tried to put it on him and it didn't work. What do? He takes a step back and he's getting ready to swing at you again.
I throw the grenade at the ground.
You're right in front of him?
Yep.
Okay. You throw the grenade at the ground. And
it is ignited and is about
Okay, and it's about to explode. Okay, and then what? You just stand there, or you try to jump back?
I go back as far as I can. I say, Master!
And you just and there's just this explosion as one of the droidicas goes flying into the stone pillar next to you guys, and he like crumples to the ground. Go ahead and roll 3d6.
3d6?
46. As the grenade just messes up the first one. Oh my gosh, it's still alive.
3 HP.
So it smashes into the ground and kind of slumps over and then shakes itself off. And one of its arms snapped. And it's like sparking. And it's like, it gets up on its spider legs and it's going to start walking towards you. The one that's right next to you, as you guys like rolled over, you now see overlook at Silas. Silas is probably 5-10 feet away from this other droidica. And just finally, he like flashes up one and then gets one of his lightsabers into it. Slash! It's all, and one of the laser stops working. So the droidica gets in ball form and rolls and smashes into Silas. Silas is like boom, and like gets knocked down onto the floor, and he's like ah, and you hear him cry out as you land just from throwing that grenade. What do you do?
So as I'm coming down, I put one of my blades like this, and I would try to land on the droidica that just smashed into Silas.
He's like 10, 15. You're gonna run over to him? If you do that, you trigger an attack of opportunity from both of those droids, because they're like right in front of you. Yeah, one's like behind you, and one is like over here that you smashed. You're like right here in the middle of them. Silas and the laser one are way behind you.
Okay. Just push the one up.
Yep.
Dude, I just go.
Okay, you force push it, and again it smashes, and it just barely stood up, and you force it slam right into the ground. Go ahead and roll 2d6.
6 and 1 fell off.
Into 3. Grab that dice. Okay, so that one actually, it like goes into and it's like sparking really bad now. It's still alive. Now the droidica's turn. The droidica in front of Silas with the laser turns and it shoots, goes pew, 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 and Silas is on the ground and he's trying to get up and it just blam 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 blasts his leg like 3 times. He cries out and he's like Sar! And the other one that you just blasted into just stands up and waddles over and just slashes down at Silas. Silas immediately cries out in pain. And there's one more droid in front of you. It's like over to the side of you, and it like waddles over to get in between you and Silas. And it goes shing, and it's gonna run up and it's gonna try to double slash at you. Try to dodge.
What's going on?
16. Oh! So it double slashes you. What do you do?
I duck under it, and as it's above me,
and just falls dead before you.
Alright, the one that just slashed at. Is it my turn?
Yep.
The one that just slashed was Silas. And both hands just force push.
They both get blasted into one of them gets blasted into the laser wall. The one with the laser hand is just completely dead. The one with the sword is completely dead. The one with the laser cannon gets blasted, gets knocked 10 feet into the wall and slumps to the ground. It's Silas's turn. He's actually not doing very good at all. He barely stands up with the rest of his movement.
Master, get behind me.
And he's like, Sar! And he goes to swing, but the droid reacts and blocks with his laser, with his like sparking arm, blocks his weapon, and then raises up his laser and goes and blasts Silas like 3 times in the stomach. He's and you like look, you're standing like this close, and Silas's eyes just widen and then they just go white, and he just crumples to the ground.
Dude, I charge this droidica. I'm angry.
Yep.
Dude, no.
What do you do?
What's server force?
Sever force means you cut off the force from somebody. You can't do that to a droid.
Told you. Back off. And again, I just force push him again, and I just charge.
And we just like zoom out as you just butcher that last one, and you go on the other side of the wall, and you can see that Drakenstar is actually they had 4 droidicas over on that side. Josmo's behind a pillar and just barely dodging. Goes to turn off and boom! One blaster hits him in the shoulder. He's like, oh! He cries out, and he's like, and Drakenstar's like, and like you see Drakenstar has 2 droidicas, one on each side, and they both have all of his arms, and they're trying to rip his freaking arms off. And at that point, you see that you hear footsteps coming, and they're a squad of clones, and they turn in there, and they all have guns at you, and they're pointing at you, and they're like, Jedi Star, what's going on here? What do you do?
I'm so You need to help.
What's wrong?
You need to help the others.
There's a laser. We can't get past.
Then just
Where's Master Crow? You like point. Master Crow. He doesn't look good, sir. Listen to me. We need to get out of here. They can handle themselves. We need to medically evacuate you.
I'm fine. Get him out.
We're not leaving you, and you are not to leave your master. Is that understood?
Who's the Jedi here?
I have direct orders from Mace Windu to bring all of you back alive. I can't let you go. I'm sorry.
Then you need to help the others too.
We will. I'm sending a squad in right here.
They're
Echo.
me too.
Echo. Boomer. Pick up Master Crow. And you see the one who was talking to you kind of walk around a corner and call in for backup. We're gonna need medical evacuation. We're gonna need medical evacuation as soon as possible. We'll meet you at the front gates of the palace.
I have in my comm now and try to get hold of Mace Windu.
Master Sar, please tell me you have good news.
No. Silence is almost gone. The others... I need to help the others, but... The orders, the clone says that they have direct orders for me to get out.
You listen to me very carefully. Drake and Josmo can handle themselves. You need to take...
Because
I understand.
I can.
We are all able to take care of ourselves. I'm ordering you to medically evacuate yourselves. What condition is Master Silas in?
Not good. He's taken at least 6 shots.
And yourself?
I took a graze from a vibro sword. Other than that, I'm fine.
Listen. You are needed elsewhere. You are to come back, and you are to take care of your master. That's the Padawan's duty. Is that understood? Get on the ship with Echo Squadron and meet me back on Coruscant. You're wanted here. In the comments.
Drakenstar, can you hear me?
They're so far away. They're probably like a football field away from you, and there's a giant laser wall that's separating you guys. You turn back and look, and Drakenstar is about to get his arms ripped off, and then he throws his arm forward, and he's like, "Get off of me!" And he pulled out both lightsabers, and he's like, "Ah!" And you just see him butcher one of the droidicas just insanely. And then the clone commander, the droid general guy, whatever, turns and blasts him. He's like, "Ah!" And he throws his blade at it. He goes into him. Drake runs up and jumps, and then he pulls his purple blades out of him, and with 2 swords just completely stabs him and just tackles on him, and you just see Drake and starts. He's just lost his mind. He's just pissed. And Josmo, you actually meet eyes with Josmo, and he just gives you one of these.
Well, I give him a sideways one.
The sideways?
Because you're almost dead. I got grazed. Dude, that blade's all Master, I'm here. Can't lose another one.
He like reaches out. You guys, we cut to. You guys are in the med bay, on a ship. Silas's head is wrapped up in bandages. His arm is wrapped up in bandages, and there's a bandage. There's a bloody bandage around his stomach. A medical droid did come to you and kind of look at your arm. All you really had was like a burn on your arm, so they put some ointment on it and put a bandage on it, but you're completely fine. Echo Commander took you down to the medical bay because Silas needed to speak to you.
Can I mend a body?
And he leads you down a long hallway and into the med bay where Silas is sleeping on a bed. He's not sleeping, he's just laying down on a bed. He reaches out with a shaking hand and grabs onto you. You did good. I'm very proud of you. I couldn't ask for a better apprentice. I'm still alive, aren't I? You saved my life.
It's faster.
I blacked out there. What happened?
Blasted by the droid again. And right at the moment that after I blew up that grenade and we got blasted and I just launched right across the room. I was just launching, I just kept,
He reaches out and puts his hand on your shoulder. You did the right thing. When I first met you, you were a lost young man. These 3 long years has changed the both of us. I told the council you're ready for your Jedi trials.
his mouth was just open, like he's insanely surprised.
I can't be there. They won't let me leave. I'm gonna be doing research on the Queen of the Moon. We need to figure out what that was. You have your own things to figure out. And I'm not sure what's gonna happen after this, but we probably won't see each other much. Just know I'm very proud of you. He like squeezes your shoulder. And he lays his head back down.
I look at the medical droid. I say, if he dies, there's nothing left.
No worries, Sar. He is under intensive medical evaluation. He will be okay. He needs rest. Sar. My Jedi cruiser. Go to it. Go to the council. Pass your trials. Become the Jedi Master that I know you can be. If this is farewell, Sar, I was honored to fight by your side. And he smiles and gives you a thumbs up.
I just hug him.
You hug him. He hugs you back.
I'm the Jedi cruiser.
We skip over to Sar flying on a Jedi cruiser. the Jedi cruiser gets into warp speed. The lights are all flying past you as you're like on the controls, and you just keep picturing the last thing that you saw of Drake. He was, being a badass warrior, fighting off those droids. Josmo turning towards you, his shoulders all black from being shot. He's all sweaty, and he smiles at you and gives you a thumbs up. And then again over to Silas, where you guys talk, and you give him a hug. These memories just keep replaying over and over in your mind. Hyperspace is very quickly, maybe 15-20 minutes later, the controls autopilot kicks you out of hyperspace, and the Jedi cruiser comes to a halt. You're still flying, but like a slower speed. Before you is the magnificent giant city of Coruscant. City planet. We see Sar's Jedi cruiser fly down. It's a yellow cruiser. Silas's favorite color, yellow. Fly down into the city. You lower as you get in. It's daytime, and so as we pass, there's these massive buildings, and there's all these different cars flying in highways and airways. Sar drives over, and you look over to the left out your window as you're on one of these highways, and you can see the magnificent Jedi temple before you. You turn off and kind of float your way down to the landing bay, and your brakes kick on, and your Jedi cruiser slowly lands. You hop out. You're definitely max HP. They put you back on in the med bay.
Yeah, they just passed me around.
As you walk in, up the stairs, there's these massive stairs up the Jedi Temple. You've walked these so many times as a Padawan. This is your first time returning to the Jedi Temple since you left for the war. You walk up these massive steps, and there's a giant entrance. On either side of the entrance are two massive statues of Jedi. They're standing there looking down in robes, and they have their hands over their fist like this, and their faces are hidden underneath their robes. They're both the exact same, and they're probably 50 feet tall. Massive. As you walk in, you get memories from when you very first came here, and all the times where you would go into this chamber and have lightsaber practice with Master Yoda as a kid, as a youngling, or you would be over in the library, doing research on this or that.
Maybe most likely different fighting styles.
Yeah, you have all of these memories from training in this place. And then you get to a break in the road, in the halls. If you continue going straight, it leads up this massive staircase that goes circle, 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 that leads to the Jedi Council. If you go to the right or to the left, it takes you to the bedchambers. As you walk up to this fork in the road, you see a Jedi standing there, leaning against the wall, with his hands crossed, her hands crossed, and she's just kind of looking at you. Long time no see. And when you walk up there, you don't believe your eyes, because it was your previous master, Lex standing in front of you.
Rex?
So, you go ahead and get me killed and replace me and just forget about me?
I never forgot about you. I don't know what you're talking about. You're always here. You've always been here. And you'll never leave here.
You disappoint me, Sar.
I like rub my eyes.
She's standing in front of you.
Not real.
All you had to do was take orders. Your first mission, you muck up and get your master killed.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I never meant for you to get killed. Think I wanted you dead? Is that really what you think?
Not what I think, it's what happened and what I know.
Not at all.
Little birdie told me you're about to take your Jedi trials. How
You're
sweet.
stop.
I would never do such a thing. I just wanted you to remember the master you killed. Your hands have my blood. I wonder what the masters will say about that. You think they forgot? Like you?
I never forgot.
Says you. But not your memories. Where I reside. She unfolds her arms and kind of takes a step closer to you. And you're actually a little bit taller than her now. She used to be taller than you, but you've grown a little bit in the past few years. Go ahead and describe what she looks like for me. What are you picturing right now?
So, she's human. Light brown robes. Female. Black hair. Light blue eyes.
You see a lightsaber at her side, and her blue blade was always fascinating to you. I see you've replaced my color with your new master's, and further proof that I'm left in your past. Pity.
I never got rid of that blade that I had. The lightsaber blade. It's not gone.
You don't carry it into battle. Might as well be gone. What did I tell you? Jedi's blade is arguably the most important tool.
Not at all.
Don't you think?
No, I don't.
Look, I've taken up enough of your time. And as you blink, she's gone. A tear comes down your face as you wipe your eye and realize that you're standing there talking to yourself. There's a couple Jedi that are walking, not by you. This place is huge, so this hallway that you're standing in is, 20 people can stand hand in hand and touch the wall. So you're probably way over here on the side kind of talking to yourself, and then you realize that there's people walking all around you. So what do you do? You have three options. You could go to the bedchamber, try to get some sleep. You can go to the library, or you can go to the council. Remember what Jedi Master Crow told you. told you that he was proud of you, and that you were ready for the Jedi trials. As you kind of stand here, you do notice that the temple isn't as full as it was when you left. Many Jedi have left for the war, and many Jedi have died in the war. You realize just how lucky you really are to be alive.
What if they go to
When you first entered, it was one of the first or second chambers.
I want to go say hi to all the humans.
Okay. As you walk down the hallway, you come up to a wall, to a door that, as you approach it, air releases as it lowers. It's dark in the room, and you can actually see Master Yoda standing in front of a group of probably 12 to 15 students. They all have visors on, and there's a metal orb floating in front of each of them, and they all have their lightsabers out. Hold it, class, hold it!
Yoda, it's so good to see you.
Visitors we do, have we? Master Sar, nice to see you, it is.
Just two of my take a bow.
He takes a bow as well. Apprentices, a war hero we have in our midst. What can we do for you?
I was hoping to meet you, actually, Master Yoda.
Of course.
I am here to take the Jedi Knight trials. I didn't know anyone else to see besides you.
Red Loose, it is, it seems. To the council, you must go. Been through a lot, you have, Master Sar.
It's Master Yoda.
Apprentices, do you see not what war does to change the face of us people? Sadness, strength, courage it is, I see, on his face. Not long ago, he stood here like you, trained with blade. Very proud of you, we are, Sar. The time is right. Here it is to speak to you, it is.
And before I walk out, say, young ladies, if you're interested in working with two blades, you might want to come and see me.
A couple of them laugh. See you in the council. Sorry.
Not now, I'm gonna walk out.
Apprentices, take a bow. And they all bow to you as you leave.
Back.
What do you do?
They go all the way up those steps.
Beautiful. You walk up the carpet of the Jedi Temple. Before you is a massive pillar that rises high into the tallest tower of the Jedi Temple. Look, I got goosebumps. In the center of the tower,
I've been crying the whole session.
there's stairs that go up, circular, higher and higher. As you ascend, there is a single platform. The carpet continues and stops abruptly before a door. On one side of the door is a woman Jedi who is sitting at a desk and stands when you approach. Master Sa, we've been awaiting your arrival. Are you here? Are you ready to take the trials? we've heard a lot of your endeavors on Onderon, and I'm just glad to see you again. And you've seen this woman in passing before, so.
Nice to see you too.
But enter when you're ready. And she sits back down. You see Sar as you look up. Sar just takes a deep breath and walks in. The door lowers, and as you walk in, you walk into a circular room in the very center. There's a window that is behind along all of the walls. On the outside of the walls, you can see just this beautiful view of Coruscant. You can see buildings in the background, cars flying all over the place. The sun is beginning to set, so there's a beautiful orange light that is going over all of the city. As you walk in, there's a center circle, almost like a platform, in the very center of probably 15 to 20 chairs. And in each of these chairs sits Jedi Masters. There are 2 that are blue, and they're holograms. One you immediately notice is Mace Windu, and he is sitting, he's a blue hologram, because you know that he's on Onderon.
Yeah.
There's 3 more seats over here on the right that are just empty, and as you just kind of look over at them, you kind of get this feeling of dread and sadness. There is a seat next to Mace Windu that is smaller and circular, and it's empty. A holographic voice speaks out. Well, Zar, it seems you made it.
Never miss it.
The door lowers behind you, and a stick. As you turn to look, it's Master Yoda. And he nods at you and takes a seat. Sir, pleasure it is. Ready for the trials? You are. Heard many things from Silas. Many good, some bad. What say you?
I have had some bad choices, but in the end it all worked out better, and he has taught me a few rules.
Thanks, Windu. Master Silas Crow is always about his rules, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, if you follow them, it tends to work out. To all of our surprise.
Mostly me. We're following him for 3 more years.
Sorry. What makes up a true Jedi are a series of skills, traits. Courage, insight, skill, flash, and spirit. In war, you've shown great effort of courage, being able to stand fast, save your master. I was told that it was because of you he survived.
But I still could have done more.
What you did. More, possibly. But you did your best.
Yes.
Better. Always reachable. But best. You must do every time. fear I sense in you, Master Sar. A cloud of darkness hangs over your head, it does. I sense guilt. Explain this to me, Sar.
I had a vision. It was Lex. She was standing against the wall telling me that I wanted her dead, that I wasn't good enough. She's just a stuck-up youngling.
You see, like, most of the Jedi, like, kind of lean forward and put their hands like this, and they're just listening intently.
It wasn't true. I did what I thought was right, and I was wrong. If I could go back, I would.
The outside, it is. Interfering with your thoughts, it is. Listen to it not.
I didn't. I told him. I said it was all wrong. None of it was true.
Darkside clouds all. Get through this, you must, Master Sar.
I had it before. I think I'm gonna do it again.
3 trials remain for you.
Ready.
Skill, flesh, and spirit. Spirit proves to be the most difficult, I think. Mr. Yoda, I think I have an idea. Do you remember what we did with Philatides? He's talking to Master Yoda. The ice planet, you speak. Yes. I think if we send him there, make him survive, that should cover the bases, right? This is very dangerous, very cold. You must adapt. Are you capable, Padawan?
I've adapted to many different planets. And adapted to space. And adapted to the air.
You see a green master. He has long tendrils, and he has like kind of pointed fingers. Hoth is a very cold planet. If you are to survive there, you must learn to adapt to the bitter cold. Find warmth, feed yourself. The settlements on Hoth are spread apart very far. If you are to travel, you can't get caught in a blizzard. You will perish. Right, Kitfish still is. Been there before. We all have. Dangerous place it is. But if you survive all of the trials completed, they will be.
How long do I have to survive?
Master Yoda looks over at Mace Windu, who looks over at him as well, and he like shakes his head. And then Mace Windu goes like this. Raises one finger. And Yoda's ears deflate. They look down. And he takes a deep breath. 1 month it is. By yourself. No help from outside world. No help. Do you accept?
I accept.
Should you survive a Jedi Knight, you will become. Maybe someday you'll take place here in the temple. You must survive. Know where you are going. Keep your head straight. Understood.
Understood, Master.
Good. Decided it is. You're to leave immediately.
Yes, Master.
Do you walk out?
I take a bow and I walk out.
Beautiful. We cut to Sar. We cut to Sar.
You don't want him? Or what?
We're talking.
You got to solve him? Everything proficient about it. Got a +6 for survival.
We cut to Sar, relaxing in his bedchamber. What do we find you doing?
He actually has a metal ball that he's force pushing up, and right before it hits the ceiling, he force pulls it down, and he's just doing that, kind of like a upside down yo-yo.
It's extremely late in the night. You're not able to get very much rest. You know, all your mind is racing. You're excited and nervous,
Oh shit.
a little bit scared. Your thoughts wander to what happened to Josmo. What happened to Drake? And what happened to Master Crow? What are they doing in this moment? Are they thinking of you? You look over and there's a window right by your bed and you can see a moon. It's almost full. It's like 3/4 of the way full. Just stands there in the night sky. You take a deep breath and you roll over and go to sleep. I gotta get a good music.
Dude. I've literally been crying the whole session. Have you noticed? Dude, this session's got me. The whole thing he did is my master.
Good, right? Okay. We cut to Sar standing on an ice planet. This isn't quite good. I need Alright. Immediately you step out the cruiser that you were on. The ramp lowers itself and immediately the cold wind blows in and you were given some robes, to keep warm, some heavy robes, and immediately your robes start flapping in the wind and snow comes pouring in and there's just some a clone who stands up and he stands right by the ramp and he salutes you.
Take a bow.
As you go to turn and walk down the ramp, you get to the sense of just how freezing it is out here. It's negative degrees out here. And the wind is just blowing everywhere, and all you can see is just white. There's no roads. There's a mountain in the distance. The sky is a dark purple, black, really dark, really cloudy. And as you are just kind of looking and you hear a tss, as you turn, the ramp lifts itself up and shuts itself in the ship, and you hear as the ship raises and then as it flies off, and the wind is just blowing. What do you do?
Can I tell what time of day it is?
You have no idea. It's definitely daytime because there's light, but it's impossible to tell. You can't. You look and you can't even see the sun.
I want to head towards the mountain.
You start heading toward the mountain. Okay, awesome. Go ahead and roll 2d6 for me. Yep. Ooh. What was your other one?
Snake eyes.
Snake eyes? Ooh. Oh my god.
I die.
Okay. So first off, it starts blizzarding. As you're like walking farther and farther, the wind only gets worse and worse as you go. Suddenly, it's getting so bad to where the snow comes down heavy. The flakes are like as big as a small orange, and it's just coming down to the point where and then it starts blowing right in your face, and you're walking for probably 45 minutes to an hour as you start heading towards the mountain. The snow at this point is getting up to your knees. That smells. It's your nose is almost not working. It smells so fresh, and but it's just so cold that you aren't really picking up any smell. It just smells like fresh air, you know. The end of your nose, it starts to get really cold as it starts draining and freezing. You have a hood up and you're just trying to brave through it. Okay.
I wouldn't start blizzarding.
So I need you to roll me a survival check.
Check.
Because as you are kind of look up, you look down.
22.
You look down and at your feet, and you're walking ahead. And as you look up, you notice that the mountain is basically gone. You turn back around and you can see your footprints from the last 5 steps, but anything past that has been completely swept over. Like your tracks are being blown over. You kind of sense your way around, and you can still feel that you are heading this way towards the mountain. Okay. Okay. You succeeded in your survival check, so good job. You made it through the blizzard. Go ahead and roll me 2d4. 5. It takes about 5 hours for you to walk. After about 5 hours, the blizzard, you make it through the blizzard. You kind of shake off. You're just completely covered in snow and ice, and your shoulders have built up ice on it, and you brush it off as you turn around. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Sir? 10.
Just what you need, thankfully.
Oh, wow.
So the mountain is still many miles away from you, and as you're looking around, you're kind of up on a hill. Kind of just look around full 360, and back the way that you came is just nothing but a white wasteland, almost like a plains, you know. As you're scanning the area, you notice a small town near the base of the mountain, but it's still quite a few miles away from both you and the mountain.
Is it dark now?
It's getting darker, but it's still daytime. But again, you can't really tell what time of day it is.
I said to myself that and build a hut out of snow. Find whatever resources I can and get out of here. And hopefully make it in time tomorrow.
So what do you do?
I'm going to start, like, I want to, like, dig under the snow, and I want to make it to where, like, I can slide into it, and make sure it's, like, compact enough for us to fall in.
Okay. You do this. So you successfully dig out like a small little hole for yourself.
And it should keep warm because
Yeah.
in real life, snow keeps in food.
Yeah.
So that gets to the point where it.
Can I have a D4 back?
Oh, yes.
I need you to make a perception check, please.
Perception?
Yep. Oof. Okay, so
Automatically get better.
yeah, I roll a
I
math.
got a 7 + 6.
So as you're laying in there, kind of shivering to yourself, you kind of just start getting warm when you hear a, like, right below, right above you, and then the beginning of, like, the mouth of your little hole caves in. What do you do?
Now I know it's compact size. Ignite both of my blades. I just cut a circle through the top of the snow.
And you leap out. As you land, there's these two massive saber-toothed cats standing on the outside, and they snarl at you. And one of them has these two massive tusks. The other ones are a little bit smaller. You can tell the second one's like young. Go ahead and what do you do? They're just snarling at you at the moment.
A saber throw. One of them. Ship the big one.
Roll attack.
The big one.
16. You definitely hit. Roll damage.
So I get a +6 and 4 + 4. Alright, I need a D8.
You want D8? Right there.
Alright. So I'm on a D8 + 6. 9.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the lightsaber sinks right into its ribs, like, and that's your turn. You don't move or anything. We're good.
I do take a couple steps back.
Okay, you take a couple steps back as it turns, and it like take a yes, and you suck it back to you, and as you pull it back, it like tries to snatch at it, and it misses, and it like takes a couple steps and just launches itself at you, and it's like in the air, and it's trying to
push it,
and it's making an attack against you.
Nice.
With a 5.
Can I have a reaction?
You force push it. Is that what you do? You force push it, and it just like it's heavy. You realize this thing is
here too. Though.
This thing is heavy, and you don't force push it back. It just stops it and makes it land right here, and then it's the other saber-toothed cat. The other one takes a wide run, and it dashes, and it's like running like this, and you can see like you're on top of the hill. The massive one's right in front of you, and the smaller one's like running around, and it gets behind you, and that's its turn. What do you do?
Okay. Okay, I pull out a grenade, throw some tree sap on it. I'm gonna try to stick it on this big one.
Roll attack.
Come on, okay. Not one.
After 1, you grab this grenade. As you're like putting stuff on it, you don't realize that the saber-tooth is taking steps towards you, and you like run, and you panic and reach your hand out, and you just reach your hand out like this, and it just bites onto your hand. As you take 6 damage. Alright, now it's his turn. He's gonna just chomp down on your hand, and he like grabs onto you and picks you up and slams you onto the ground. So you're gonna go ahead and take, I needed my d6. Max damage, that's 6, buddy.
God.
And you just, and then now it's your turn. Wait, that was your turn, so now it's the younger turn's turn. And he's gonna run, and he's comes and pounces on you. You can just feel these two paw prints pounce on you, and they squeeze into you. With an 18, that hits.
Yeah.
All right, and you're gonna take minimum 1 damage. So this second cat's pretty light and not as heavy, but you do feel its claws sink into you, and you like scream out in pain. What do you do?
Alright, I force push this one off.
This one goes flying off of you because you automatically hit.
Like as I'm coming up, both my blades are at 90 and I like spin. I want to try to cut the big one's feet off.
All right, and you just sever the. You said feet?
Yeah.
Okay, and you just cut the feet off of the big cat off.
So this thing's like immobilized.
And then it like falls face first. And as soon as it sees you do this, the second cat runs away.
So that saber tooth that I cut the feet off is still alive.
Yeah.
I pull up my fiber dagger and I just stick it in his head. And then I want to go and gut it and take the skin off. And like all the...
You want to try to skin it in this cold weather.
Well, I want to go dig another hole that's bigger. I'm going to drag it in. Then I'm going to skin it. And then, bam, I have a... And then I want to try to make like a cloak out of its fur for extra warmth.
We'll say that you do this. Say that you do this. You drag it back to your hole. You kind of fix your hole. It's kind of sketch. Go ahead and roll survival. See how well you skin this thing. It's very hard because you don't have a sharp.
+6 is a 21.
It's very hard, but you managed to do it without nicking the hide. You actually make a pretty... The thing was huge, so you have a massive, like, saber-toothed coat now.
And actually, so, like, it's still, like, bloody.
You were able to, like, wash it off in the snow, we'll say.
Can I, like... Well, at least we know who it came from. Can I, like, use my lightsaber to, like, kind of, like, heat up, like, the skin? So it, like, dries, but it's, like, still bendable? I want to do that. Just so, like, it's not wet and making me colder.
Yeah, you already did that. You made a cloak, we'll say.
And still, like, the hood and everything?
The hood is actually, like, the face. And you left 2 of the long fangs on it. So it actually looks pretty badass. Okay.
So, I kind of roll up the hood a little bit, and then I shoot those bones, and
You get a long rest. You sleep until the next day.
So I'm max.
Yep.
Time to make it to that village, and I just start powering towards the village.
Okay, you walk into the village, and it's a really small village. There's probably like 15 buildings, very small little huts. You can tell that this is like a fishing village. As you approach, you see that it sits on the base of a massive frozen lake, and the village is actually like on the banks of this lake, and you can see that there's like a pier, like a docking pier, that people clearly walk out onto, and there's just this massive hole. As you approach, you see a sign. It's very covered in snow, so as you like walk up,
I went one brush the sign off.
yeah, so you like walk up, you brush the sign off, and it says Dugan's Hole is the name of the town.
Okay, I want to like walk through the village. I want to try to find a merchant.
Okay. So you go ahead and walk into the village, and you honestly don't really see any merchants.
Well, I see like anyone else has any firewood, like any wood or anything.
Yeah, you can see a few people. You actually see this one guy. Actually, no. Go ahead and roll a.
Perception?
Yeah.
22.
Beautiful. You can actually kind of see that as the sun gets darker, the villagers clearly go into their houses, their huts. In the center of the town, as you like walk through the town, and the snow is like crunching under your feet. You hear the bark of a dog over the whistle of the wind that pierces through the town. It's almost like a ghost town, actually. A wolf-sized sled dog with light gray fur runs towards you, dragging a broken leather harness behind it. And as it like walks up to you, it like is wagging its tail. It like immediately runs up to you and it like leans into you. You know how like dogs do that, and you like and it like and it, you want it to it wants you to pet it. So as you like pet it, that's when you kind of notice that it doesn't have a collar. Actually, it has a collar, which you can inspect in a second. There's a massive like brace around him that goes around his shoulders and around his stomach. It's belted in, and then there's a leash on both sides. And the one up here is maybe 3 inches long, broken, and then this one goes back a good 4 or 5 feet, and it's broken back there. And it's like just letting you pet it, and it's like it starts licking your hand, and that at that moment it's like licking your hand, and that's when your hand kind of touches its collar. And as you look at the collar, it literally just says boy. Like the dog's name is Boy.
I said, well, we need to get you a better name.
And he like takes a couple steps back to you, and it's like putting it like this, and it's like wagging its tail, and it goes, and it like runs this way back, and it runs about 10 feet away, and it turns back to you and goes.
I want to follow it.
And then it like, as you start walking towards it, it like runs up to you and like runs a circle of you, and then runs back another 20 feet. And it's like trying to get you to follow it that way.
I'm following. Depending on what I see, if the owner.
So you walk around a smaller building, and the dog immediately just runs up to this other building. The dog barks up and barks and scratches at the door. A handsome man in his probably 30s opens the door, and the dog just runs inside. When the man sees you, the dog runs inside, and the dog and he like runs up and goes to this man and starts like putting his hands on him, like, you know, and he's like, hey boy, how's it going? And he's like petting him, how's it going? What's his name? Where's Garrett at? Hey buddy, where's Garrett? And that's when he like notices you can see him like reach down and grab the broken thing, and his smile is like slowly fading as he looks up to you, and he's like, where's Garrett at?
Garrett?
Who are you?
I came to the village at a counter with a saber cat, as you can see, and I thought the village would be the best place to find a little bit more help, and the dog came running up to me and trying to get me to follow him.
Come inside. Come, it's freezing out there.
I walk inside.
Alright, and he shuts the door behind you. Oh. Have a seat at the table. And as you do, he walks over to the stove and puts a pot of hot water on, and he's just making tea as you guys kind of small talk. He actually makes you a cup of warm cider, apple cider, and he slides it over to you. And as you taste it, it's probably the best thing you've had recently. The warmth immediately warms your body. It has a bitter sweetness of apples, and it's just really good, honestly. And he says, what brings you to Dugan's Hole?
I am actually doing the Jedi Knight travels.
Oh, you're a Jedi.
Yes, for letting me stay here, how many credits do I owe? Like,
Republic credits aren't good here. We just trade and barter. We don't even have currency. We don't really have money.
How much would they trade for? What would they trade for credits?
I do have something. You see, I was born here, but my husband, Garrett, came from a wealthy town farther south. Garrett didn't care for city life when I met him. He was working as a guide. He loves the outdoors, and he loves to climb mountains. I'm sure you've seen the one that's not that far away, right?
Yeah, I was actually heading my way there, and then I saw the village. If I need to go search the mountain, then I can. Would you like me to?
And Mike takes a sip. A few days ago, Garrett was hired by some adventurers and to lead them up the slopes of Kelvin's Cairn. That's the mountain.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Garrett's plan was to take the adventurers to the top. After they acquired some climbing gear from the outfitter here, he was to lead them up the mountain. Garrett took 6 dogs and a sled with him. Boy, here, was Garrett's favorite. Raised him from a pup. Boy would never leave Garrett's side unless something terrible has happened.
Okay, me and Boy can go track him down.
I don't know how many there are, but they've been gone for a couple days. I'm not worried about Garrett. This is what he does. He has to be alive up there. But...
The Saber, does he have any, does he know, is he able to defend himself against these
of course,
Sabers?
Garrett, my husband is a great man, great fighter.
Okay, as long as he knows how to hold himself for at least a day or two until I can get there with Boy, then...
Well, if you take some sled dogs, you can get there in a few hours.
It's like nighttime.
Or you could ride on a tauntaun.
It's a tauntaun.
So he just kind of describes a tauntaun to you. And a tauntaun is... How do I describe this? It's kind of like a velociraptor
It's like
and a goat mixed together.
So it's
So,
Yeti rat.
kind of. So it has a long body. Its tail is very pointy and long. It walks on 2 legs, and it has 2 Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. And on the top of his head is a goat. It's like a goat head. So it has...
I have a toy.
Yeah, it has spiral head. The people on Hoth, they ride tauntauns everywhere. That's what they ride. It's like horse.
Which one's faster? Tauntaun or a dachshund?
You could get there faster on a tauntaun. We don't want to risk any more of our dogs' lives. We don't have very many, you understand. It's a lot to ask, but could I persuade you to go up there and find Garrett and his companions? I don't have any money, but...
I don't need any money. The only thing I really need is some firewood.
I could get you some free rooms. You could stay here. I'm also an artist, and I could give you some of my art. It's not worth much, but...
Do you have any, firewood, maybe? Any spare firewood?
Well, of course, that's how we survive here.
I could take some firewood. I don't need any free rooms or anything. As long as I can get some firewood and be able to trade here, I should be fine. I'm only gonna be in your hair for a month, which I'm probably just gonna stay on the outskirts of the mountain.
Take my tauntaun, Jeppy. And Jeppy will take you up there in a couple hours. May the ice gods bless you.
1 second. Is it okay if I do you have any other leashes I can keep Boy with me so I can help track down Garrett?
He'll follow you.
You will? Okay, I just don't know.
Garrett is his best friend. Hey, right boy. He's and he's shaking his tail, and he runs over to the door, and his tail's hitting the door.
Don't worry.
And he's just sitting there shaking his ass because he's just so excited to go. He's like, thanks.
Don't worry, I'll keep Boy safe. And if I need to take camp before I can get out there, I can dig a hole under the snow, and me and Boy will just...
Thank you so much.
No problem. It's better than you risking your life not knowing.
Okay. My name's Keegan, by the way.
Keegan. Nice to meet you, Keegan.
Nice to meet you. I never thought I'd meet a Jedi. This is very surreal.
I know. A lot of other Jedi say they have been here.
Well, I've never left Dugan's Hole. There's not very much else to go do. I'm stuck here on this damn planet. I was born here, I'll die here. That's how it goes, I guess.
have faith that you'll find something else.
Maybe. I'm happy here with Garrett, but without Garrett.
It's nothing else to live for.
Exactly.
I have a Jedi Master. He's in bad condition. We were actually in a fight. Have you ever heard of a Jedi?
No.
Well, yeah. So they're like spider. They're like metal spiders that are gigantic and have laser cannons. You know what a laser cannon is, right?
Laser blasters, we have those. I have my blaster pistol here. Pulls it out.
You use good use of it.
I'm an okay shot. Garrett makes fun of me.
Do you ever need anything? Do you have a comm? Any like radio system?
No, but I think this will be better use for you. And he hands you the pistol. If you show Garrett this, he'll know I sent you. He'll know what it means.
And I like tuck it.
Hurry back, Jedi.
I'll bring him back and then, well, should be out of your hair.
Oh, and take this. And he tosses you a bag. It's like a small little pouch.
Food?
Dog food.
I cook it to my robes.
So like some little dog treats.
Say, alright, boy.
If boy runs off, just dangle one of these. He's a really good nose.
Be safe.
You be safe.
If you have any trouble, try to send a signal. I mean, whatever I have, send a signal, I'll even try.
Try to come back with the adventurers that Garrett came up there with. There was, I think, 3 of them.
Doing Garrett, so I'm not the
Small man, a very tall man, and a woman with horns. She had red horns. Yes.
Was she? Did you get a good look at her? Like,
Yeah, she was nice. Nice lady.
Was
Her name was Asterix was her name.
Did she have like a red, orange skin, maybe?
It was mostly red.
Okay. I put down my hood and I said, did she kind of look like me?
No.
No. Okay. I'll keep an eye out.
Thank you.
And I put my hood back up and I say, you ready, boy? And I say, okay, I'll be back within a week,
Alright.
maybe less.
Alright. So, since you take your Tauntaun, Leppy, boy runs at your side and you guys just dash towards the mountain. Okay? I would make you roll a survival check, but we're kind of rolling late on a little bit of time. We only have half an hour left, so let's get going. Okay, let's do this. So, we get this scene of like you just riding on this Tauntaun. It's all, and it's just like you guys are just hauling ass, and like this giant wolf dog boy, such a ridiculous name, it's like just runs at your side as you guys are just dashing up. Alrighty. As you get to the base of Kelvin's cairn, you see 2 tents pitched up in the snow near an icy outcropping that acts like a natural windbreaker. It's like kind of like a shelf, like a cliff. Okay. Between the tents is an overturned sled. When you get closer, immediately you hear the sound of as like other dogs, and still harnessed to the sled are 5 dogs. There's 5 of them, and you can see that they're attached to this front part still. And you see Boy runs up and he like starts checking on all these dogs who they're all howling, and you can easily tell that Boy was a part of this sled team, and you can see the broken leash that he broke off of. These dogs are skinny, frozen damn near, and they look miserable. As you kind of
Up a tree.
okay, okay, so you give each of them a treat, and they calm down a little bit. As you're kind of walking over, you kind of just like look over, and one of the tents, the poles has broken in the front, and it is just completely filled with snow. The other tent is kind of back farther and still covered with snow, but you notice that the zipper of the flap of the second tent is wide open.
I want to go up to the second tent.
As you walk up to the tent, there was a bedroll in there that looks to have been used. Go ahead and roll survival check for me.
20.
Neutral 20?
Oh no.
Okay. This hasn't been used for probably 2 days. However, you can see that the dogs were able to get into this tent, and because there's 2 boxes, there's one box towards the front, and there's another box towards the back of the tent. The box in the front of the tent has been broken open, and it is empty, and it's all broken.
I want to go to the first tent and see if I can open it.
Okay. You walk up, and you can clearly see that the first tent is just destroyed, and there's nothing in there. There was another box in the second tent.
I'll check the second.
The second box, you realize, is the same as the first box, except the dogs couldn't reach it from where they were kind of harnessed, you know? And the second box is actually full of rations. So the dogs broke into the first box and actually ate those rations.
I'm gonna look around for like any footprints, anything.
You look around and you can't really see anything. However, this is basically what you're looking at, by the way, is just this massive mountain, and you're way down here at this base camp, okay? So as you like look up, you can see that there's a pretty clear like path that winds all the way to the top of the mountain. And as you like are looking up, at the very top of the mountain, you can see like snow blowing off of the peaks. What do you do?
So it's nighttime right now?
It's getting darker. It's hard to tell.
So like it's getting dark. Alright, so what I do is I go up to the first tent. I just want to take out like the poles.
Okay.
I want to go walk over to the sled.
Okay.
And I like want to put it up, make like a tent. And then I want to take the other tent. I'm going to take it apart, put it up with the other one, and then I want to use like the poles and connect them to the sled and like the tents together. And then I want to like dig under the snow. And then I want to make like a little under fort tent that's going to keep me warm for the night. And like the box and like the bedroll is just on the ground.
So you're gonna stay here at the bottom of the tent.
I'm going to stay here until morning, yes.
It's still daytime.
Oh,
You can't really tell because there's no sun.
Well,
And as you're kind of digging and doing all of this, Boy is like and is like pointing up the mountain, and he's like running in circles and comes back at you to come check on you, and it like actually he bites onto your robes and pulls you a little bit, and then he runs back and goes
that's it. This is cool. If we can't make it to the top today, then we come back.
no other choice.
Okay. Following you, boy. And we go up.
So you leave the dogs out in the cold.
Well,
As you take a couple steps back, you hear as like all of the different dogs are just like looking at you. They're all skinny, covered in frost, and they look miserable, and they're all just tied to this sled that is basically destroyed.
I say, boy, can you take the other dogs home?
He just looks at you and goes and is still pointing up the mountain.
Yeah, I walk over to the dogs and I untie them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Immediately, the dogs start licking you.
go home.
And that was, and then they're like smelling your pouch, They want more treats. You reach in there, there's only one more treat. And there's 5 dogs. 6 including Boy. What do you do?
Okay.
And then suddenly, Boy goes.
I give the other dogs treats besides Boy. Toss Boy the last one.
Rude. And he doesn't eat it.
Alright.
He like takes it and pushes it away with his nose.
Okay, pick it up. I break it into 5 different pieces, and each of the dogs a piece.
Okay.
And I tell them, go home.
They run up and give you more lickings, and then they take off. As you turn back, Boy is staring at the slopes of Kelvin's cairn as you ascend.
I hope those dogs can make it home.
You walk for what seems like minutes, turns to half an hour, turns to an hour. You're walking up there for about an hour when you start to see some movement ahead of you. The howling wind, blowing snow, and slippery ice make the climb treacherous. Ahead of you, you focus and you can see that 4 mountain goats are perched on a large rock formation around which you must kind of walk around. What do you do?
I'm just gonna walk around.
There's 3 of them, like, laying down, and as you kind of approach, one of them stands up and gets on to the top of the ledge, and you're kind of, like, underneath them, and it, like, just stands up, like, proud, and it has, like, this massive horns, and this thing's probably 400 or 500 pounds, just a beast, and he's just looking down at you and just, like, watches you as you, like, slowly walk in front of it.
I have the pistol at the ready. Like, if this thing charges me, I'm unloading a full clip on it. And I just want to try to go around.
Okay. You continue to walk. As you walk farther, you walk around this massive rock, and you're like hugging this cliff face. The path up the mountain gets narrower and narrower until it's like there's just enough room for you and Boy kind of to walk single file. Like Boy's in front of you, and then you're just following him basically. He's kind of been leading this entire way. You get to a point where you almost have to like walk like this, like sideways, shimmying, and then it finally opens up. But when it opens up, you can see that there's just this massive hill right in front of you, and you have to like the path kind of continues. You can see that the path has been blown over, but you will have to walk across this massive like area. It's almost like a ski hill or like a sled hill. You know what I mean? So you're on this side, and you have to walk all the way across it.
Pistol's still at the ready, and I say, Boy. I want to go like try to pick Boy up.
He's heavy.
He is?
Yeah, and he's doing fine in the snow.
I'm just worried someone's gonna pound on him.
As you like pet him, he reassures you. Suddenly, hundreds of feet up the mountain, you come to a glistening white expanse packed of snow, like I was describing. As you get about halfway across it, you hear a loud crack from higher up the mountain, followed by a rumbling noise. As the ground starts to shake, it's an avalanche.
Oh god, I get in front of Boy, tell Boy, sit, stay.
You need to get out of here. It is coming down that whole slope. You need to run. You immediately run?
I said, what's something I can do that's gonna make Boy...
The dog just immediately takes off.
Oh, then I just follow him as quick as I can go.
As you just run. Go ahead and roll against me. So it's about 500 feet away. I got a 7.
I got a 16.
Okay, so it's still, you're rolling really good. You're running. You actually are starting to, the snow is really deep here. You're at the part where the path is completely covered over, so you have to like wade through this part. Go ahead and roll athletics for me.
Athletics.
As you start trying to get through this part right here. So suddenly the snow is like waist deep, and now it's like up to your chest, and you have to push yourself through this. As you manage to get through this whole, like, this heavy part, snow is just tumbling down the mountain. So this massive rumbling is coming all around you. These giant balls of snow are just building up and building, and it's coming straight for you. You just keep running.
Dude, I'm force pushing this snow.
You're just trying to. You finally get through that path, and all of a sudden you get to a part where there's 3 rocks that you have to jump over. As you like run, you have to roll acrobatics to see if you can jump over this.
First one.
Just one.
12.
12? You easily manage to leap. You like leap onto the second rock. Your foot almost slips, but you catch yourself, and then you leap across the other rock. As you just keep running. This. Yeah, oh yeah, he's way ahead of you. He's already made it across. And then finally, there's this part where you have to climb. And is like probably a 15-foot gap where there's small little rocks that you have to climb. It's about 100 feet away from you. Roll athletics or acrobatics to get over this wall. Yep.
Can I just force jump?
Yeah. You just force it. You just see Sar like launch, do a front flip in the air and land, and you like run as the avalanche sweeps right behind you just in time.
I just sit down. I'm panting, dude. I said, boy, come here.
You know what? And he actually runs off, not very far ahead.
I was just gonna give him a bunch of love and say, we made it.
And he starts howling, and he starts barking, and he's like, he found something, it looks like.
Oh, I walk up to him.
Okay, you reach a steep, snow-covered incline dotted with jagged rocks. Lying face down in the snow, barely conscious, is a human in blood-stained, cold-weather clothing. You flip him over, and it's a man. He has a bearded face, and he's like, who are you?
I'm sorry. I showed him the pistol.
Where did you get that?
I'm not your husband.
Keegan?
Yeah.
Sent you?
He sent me to find you.
I've been in the snow for so long. And all of a sudden, the boy starts running up and just starts licking his face. Boy. Oh, good dog.
So I take off my saber-tooth one, and then I take off my heavier, like, beginning robes.
Mm-hmm.
I put them over him, then I put my saber-tooth one back on. Say, do you know where the others are?
We were ambushed.
By what?
Wampas.
Wampas? I have no clue what's on this planet.
Also called abominable snowmen.
Oh, a Yeti?
Yetis. Here on Hoth, they're wampas. Deadly beasts.
Okay.
Man-eaters. We were
Escape.
farther up. We were almost at the frozen cave when they ambushed us from behind. I ran as far as I could, but the Alpha, he tracked me down, and I managed to jump out of the way, but I slipped over these rocks, and he like points up, and there's like a 20-foot drop that he fell, and I fell unconscious.
Okay.
How long has it been? It hasn't been long.
It's been.
Come on! All of a sudden you hear, he's like, my leg! I sprained my leg. He's like, can you do something about it? Yeah, I can't. I'm not much use here. Asterix.
Who's Asterix?
Paralu and Mokingo. They're farther up on the mountain. We need to save them.
I say, how long do you think you'll be able to survive while I go off? Like, do you think you'll be able to...
I'll be fine.
Okay, I say...
I can't go anywhere in this condition.
Can you dig yourself a hole and get into it? Like, crawl into it just to keep warm, and then I'll stop by and get you out.
He nods.
Okay. Okay, me and Boy are gonna go up,
Oh, save that.
and we just go up the mountain. I didn't know a better way to handle that.
At this point, you guys must zigzag your way up the mountain.
Alright, pause. I need to use the bathroom.
Alright, we have like 10 minutes. We're almost right at the end.
Is 2 session 1 shot?
It might be. Ready?
Yeah.
So at this point, you and Boy are walking, and you have to zigzag your way up the icy mountain. Clinging to narrow ledges and scaling icy cliffs, you manage to get past one of the most dangerous areas of the mountain in about an hour, and you gain 1 level of exhaustion from it.
Where's like exhaustion?
It's okay. You're just remember you're just exhausted. Up ahead on your left is a 15-foot high, 10-foot wide cave mouth. There's blood on the snow some distance from the cave. What do you do?
I want to see what way the blood's going. Like towards into the cave or the other way?
It looks like it's going into the cave. Go ahead and roll an intelligence check.
Which is... Is that like technology?
It's not just a straight up intelligence.
Oh, intelligence. Oh. 4.
You have no idea what happened here. There, you like come up here and there's like signs of a struggle, maybe. There's blood. The snow doesn't really get much.
I'm assuming they got ambushed and were attacked. Possibly.
Out of game, yes, but in game, your character doesn't know this because you rolled a 4.
I'm just tall. He said, "Abominable snowman."
Yeah.
Blood.
So, and then there's blood that leads into the cave.
He said, "Ambush." I got no clue.
What do you do?
I walk into the cave.
Okay. As you walk in the cave, it sounds very hollow in here. The cave has a 20-foot high roof. Most of the floor has fallen away before you. There's 2 paths. There's just these icy white rocks inside of this cave. The path on the right is a narrow little hallway, if you will, that goes forward and then bends around the corner.
Do I see any like blood?
The blood kind of ends at the entrance. There, on the left path, you can kind of peek over. There's a cliff. It just ends. But there's just pure ice that makes like a natural ice bridge that goes across to this like cavern that you kind of just look over and it goes far down. And you can see across the ice bridge there's another cliff that continues on. Which way do you go?
I go the stone way.
Okay, you take the right path. The floor of this, the room you kind of walk into gets smaller, okay? As you walk in, you can see a bunch of bones that you kind of step on that you don't realize at first. Your foot snaps like a giant rib bone that's like this big. Bits of flesh still cling to the bones, but it's frozen, so it isn't really decayed. In here, you can see that there's a lot of bloody snow. It's kind of like a pinkish. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like water down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the head of a massive man, looks like a giant, has been ripped from his shoulders. Clearly been gnawed at and stuffed on like a shelf in this on the wall. Amid the bones are torn bits of hide armor. There's a great axe on the floor, and skulls and bones of 3 mountain goats. There's fur ripped apart everywhere. This looks like some kind of den. As you walk in here, you get the feeling like you get this very strange feeling in here. 7 other crude places in the wall have other frozen heads from humans previously decapitated by the Wampas. One you can clearly see belongs to a bearded man. It's a skull. It's actually not a skull. It's like half chewed face, and the skin is frozen, and his beard is still like long.
Can I continue moving forward?
As you kind of silently, or how do you continue? You just go, or what? I don't want to.
I'm not silent.
Okay.
Going
Just roll a stealth.
stealth? Okay. I am a good stealth gambler.
Stealth. Dexterity. You have like a plus 12 or something.
Plus 2.
Yeah.
Alright.
You beat me naturally. I rolled a 12. So you beat me naturally. What'd you roll?
2.
You still beat me. If you would have rolled a natural one, that'd been different. So, okay. Okay. So, as you kind of walk into this next room, that room was kind of like an S. Okay. As you get to the end of that room, there's like natural stairs that go down, and it opens up into the final chamber of this cave.
I went up first.
Immediately, you hear very strange sounds and shadows on the wall. Because there is a small little man who looks like a halfling, um, like just a small person, and he is rolled up in a ball and whimpering. There is a mother yeti, wampa, sitting like on like a natural bed, if you will, just kind of gnawing on a bone and rips off some flesh. And at the foot of her bed, you can see that there's just this boot, and you can see like there's a foot at the bed, and she's clearly gnawing on like the knee of that leg.
I pull out the pistol and take a shot at the back of her head, try to drop her.
Well, so you're kind of like right here, and then this is in front of you. There's the halfling and the small, and there's like a kid yeti who is like kicking and playing with the small kid, like just being rough with him. The small yeti is maybe 4 or 5 feet tall, and then the mama yeti is kind of on the back wall, so she's kind of facing you. But with your stealth check, she doesn't see you at the moment. She's kind of occupied eating her thing. So, is that what you do?
So I didn't know there was a kid yeti.
Yes.
I actually want to see if Boy's with him.
What?
I want to see if Boy is still with him.
Boy is actually he stayed. Wait, yeah, Boy stayed with
Garrett?
Garrett.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just by yourself.
I don't want Boy dying. If Boy dies, I'm going to absolutely lose.
And sorry, the halfling is a girl. And you know that this is Perilou.
Does she have like red hair?
No. That was Asterix. And go ahead and roll an intelligence check real quick.
Intel. 18.
As you're kind of sitting here, it's at this moment that you realize that the big man, that there was 3 people that Garrett took. The small girl, halfling, Perilou. The tiefling-looking one named Asterix. And then there was a giant man named Makingo. And you realize that the bones that you just walked through and the giant head and the leg bone that she's sitting there gnawing on is Makingo's body. And that is the end of our session.